Hi, welcome to Nerd Culture. I'm Armin Gutierrez. Today I'm with the wonderful Amanda Miller. And if you don't know who she is, you should know who she is, especially if you're a Sailor Moon fan or a Danganronpa fan, which, by the way, a lot of the time they don't combine those kind of genres for a voice actress. A lot of the time you don't get to go be the world's best superhero and then go over to be a horrible villain. So let's start off with being the superhero. Who were you? Who in what series for Sailor Moon?
Okay. I am Amanda C. Miller, as he said, and I was the voice of Sailor Jupiter in Sailor Moon, which is the version that came out in 2014, which is the redub of the classic series from the 90s, as well as Sailor Moon Crystal, which is the completely rebooted brand new series as well. So that was a really fun experience.
Yeah, and moving from back then to getting all the way updated now to Crystal, how did it feel to be called back, and how does it feel to have that experience in the back, but now with this reboot, do you feel like you get to try new things? Do you try to bring new things to the character? Do you get to play around a bit? What is pretty much the newest experience for experiencing Crystal?
Well, the cool thing about what we're doing is that we're actually doing them both at the same time. So we're still working, because there's 200 episodes of the classic series. Mm-hmm. So we're doing that while jumping back and forth between Crystal and the classic. So it is kind of a really weird, fun opportunity, because you're playing the same character. Mm-hmm. So it's the same skeleton of a person, mm-hmm. but both shows are very, very different in tone.
Right.
So, with Crystal, it's a lot more somber and angsty, and everything's much more pulled in.
Yes.
So the reactions are not going to be as big, and the just in general, everything's much more serious in Crystal. So, you get to see a side of my character that's a little bit more all right, let's do this. I'm tough, Whereas in the classic series, you get to see a little bit more of he looks just like my boyfriend, and
right.
oh my gosh, so that's. I don't know if that was answering your question, but yeah.
No, it did. It did. Yeah.
It's really fun.
Are there times where you find yourself doing a performance and they're like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, that's too much like Crystal. Can you try it a little different?"
Luckily, because it's the same character and the same franchise, they actually don't mind if the voice sounds the same, but
right.
they will care if the tone isn't right.
Right.
So if I'm being too big for Crystal, they'll be like,
right.
tone it down,
yeah.
Or for classic, if I'm being a little too pulled in, they'll be like, come on, bigger, it's funny,
right.
because classic is has more comedic, lighthearted moments
right.
than Crystal does.
Right. And now let's switch over, since we're talking about big things. Spoiler alert for Danganronpa. Who are you in Danganronpa?
In Danganronpa, I am Junko Enoshima in the video game, not the anime, and I'm also Toko Fukawa. And then I actually share those parts. It's kind of interesting casting. I share that part with Erin Fitzgerald, who plays Genocide Jill. And then she also plays 3 of Junko's personalities, and then I'm the rest of them. So I just wanted to clarify, so I'm not taking all the credit.
No, of course not. Yeah. So with a character that's that wild and crazy, and pretty much you get to do things you will never be able to do in public. Is that a release for you in some way? Is that just part of a job? Or is it do you go into the studio sometimes, you're like, man, I'm really mad, and yeah, I can put this into the character? Or is there a process that you need to go through every single time?
I think that's why most actors love playing villains, because it's a part of ourselves we don't get to exercise that often, in polite society.
Yeah.
So characters who are just completely amoral, or characters that just scream or do whatever,
right.
and are just completely nuts, it's so much fun,
yeah.
especially with a character like Junko, because you get to be 7 different people.
Right.
So as a voice actor, I get to play all different. People, basically.
Right,
so
right.
7 characters in one. And yeah, it's so much fun, because she's so. The reason she does why she does, she justifies it for herself. So to everybody else, she's this big villain, and in her head, she's like, no, I just want to spare.
Yeah.
Everybody wants something, and I happen to want to spare. What's
I'm
wrong
allowed
with
to
that?
have this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want the iPhone 7. Give me the iPhone
right,
7. Right.
I'm a cute girl with pink hair.
Yeah.
Give me what I want. What's so hard about that? Ugh.
If you, for all the characters that you've played, for ones in that we haven't even mentioned, who's your favorite character that you enjoy
that we
performing?
haven't talked about already.
Or that we have talked about, your favorite character that you have enjoyed performing the most?
I mean, I would say it was probably one of like Junko or Jupiter, because Jupiter, I grew up watching the '90s Sailor Moon, so she was my favorite.
Right.
And so there's like a special place in my heart for that, because now I get to voice my favorite character.
Yeah.
Who I used to run around the backyard pretending to be.
Right.
Junko was so much fun because I got to be a little bit crazy and be like all over the place. But I also, Sully has a special place in my heart, and that's her over here. She is from Fire Emblem Awakening, and she is nicknamed the Woman to End All Men. She is such a badass, and she was the first like video game character that I voiced.
Yeah.
And so it's always nice when people come up and they're like, I love Fire Emblem and I love Sully, because she's not even one of the main characters. There's like a cast of like 40 people, and so she's in there, but the fact that so many people identify with her and love her, and she's very similar to Jupiter in that she's like tough and like strong and has a lot of masculine traits, but is also like, I'm all woman. Like,
of course.
You know, don't doubt it.
Yeah, the best of both worlds, and more worlds to be even added into.
Right.
Yeah. Great.
So,
That's awesome. Well, I think that we're going to end it here. Amanda, thank you so much for this.
Yeah.
This is great. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it's super easy.
Yeah.
Just chat.
And now your fans get to know you a lot more.
Oh, can I put a little plug in there?
Please do.
I wrote and created this web series called Ghosts and Stuff Inc. That's me in the purple wig. And there's a lot of other voice actors. Sandy Fox is also in it. And it's basically Parks and Rec meets Ghostbusters.
Okay.
So it's like a fun comedy thing. So check it out on YouTube.
Check this out. There will be a link to this in the comment section. And Amanda, thank you so much. I hope you have a good con. This is Nerd Culture. Armand Gutierrez. We'll see you next time.
Bye.